Hi, welcome. My name is Dan McCluskey, and I'd like to take a few minutes to discuss this type of permissive and emotional psychology at work that is really brings the dog owner in conflict with nature and with creating role change within the dog and human relationship. The first thing to understand is that dogs really do share a very deep and profound connection with us that goes beyond merely body language. This type of the connection that's shared is a part of the dog's need within through strength and weakness within the roles themselves. And really, I show very clearly how a dog's decision-making process pivots off this, not just the shared connection, but the roles that are established within the relationship itself. So how you think, your thinking process, as it equates to as it aligns with the type of emotion, the type of building blocks that you're establishing through the relationship itself is critical. It plays a critical role with with unwanted behavior. So if you're dealing with unwanted behavior issues with your dog, I guarantee you that your how you think and the type of emotional connection that you're establishing is not meeting the need. You're not aligned. Your psychology is off center. And so these videos will really help you understand and move beyond limited results, move beyond failure. I mean, even if you've failed in the past using certain types of methods or devices or whatever it is, I'm going to show you very clearly that nature is all about second chances. It really is. Dogs are in the moment. This how their minds are governed. Follow this connection. It aligns the right way. It aligns that way. And even these issues about dominance and all these different ideas about learning, what's happening, there's a twist in all those. And so that the problem here is if you're already thinking a certain way that's more emotional, your legs are going to be taken out. They really are. Nature is going to give you just enough through appearances, through how things appear to look, through how dogs respond, to make you to justify how you're thinking, to hold on to this way of thinking that does not represent surrendering to nature's laws, the surrendering to nature's governance through strength and weakness. So the whole thing here is the type of psychology, because it really does parallel the same as parenting, with this permissive type of dynamic, because that's the type of dynamic that aligns almost perfectly to what's going on right now in society with the problem that so many dog owners are having with overcoming these issues. Because even with the permissive parent, what happens is the child starts to become selfish and narcissistic, and the permissive parent that's more of the enabler, what they start to do is they start to quarterback the child. They're feeding into that, and then if the other spouse is trying to seize it clearly for what it is, they'll, instead of fixing the issue, instead of both being on the same page, the permissive parent will start to basically focus on the other spouse instead of focusing on the problem. And this is what's happening right now with dogs, is this whole permissive psychology, which is very self-focused, is in direct conflict with creating change. It really is. And it's very destructive. I mean, that's the other thing. It's very destructive. So because there's no willingness. I mean, there's got to be a willingness to be open-minded to what I'm saying, but to nature. Because nature's like a brick wall. I mean, it's not going to meet your terms. I mean, it's not going to adjust or conform to how you think if you're not in tune to meeting its standard. I mean, nature doesn't. I mean, this is the twist. This is where people are going off course. And this is where you get all this anger and hostility directed at certain trainers or certain ideas and about dominance, all these issues, because the people that are the angriest are the ones that usually represents they're in the most conflict. They really do, because there's no willingness. And so, there has to be a willingness to change, because that's how change happens. The emphasis comes through the dog owner themselves. So the whole thing here with this whole permissive type of psychology, because when you understand that dogs really are able to frame up how you're thinking, this whole self-focused and this whole want type of thing is why we get dogs in the first place, is to meet our need. But what has happened is that has gotten out of control. Okay, it's gone beyond just looking at a dog. Let's treat a dog like a dog. Those words, even now, you really think about this, you'll see it. If you say, well, just treat a dog like a dog, those have become dirty words, because what happens is this type of permissive and emotional psychology has twisted it. Okay, because just saying treat a dog like a dog infers where a dog's place is. Okay, where the hierarchy is. The dog's place is an animal, and it's a dog. Okay, but the problem here is people have elevated dogs up into some sort of mutually, cooperative thinking. But by doing that, when you elevate, it's like these ideas about learning have been elevated up. You're giving power away. Okay, that's the whole thing. There's a trade-off that has to happen, because your psychology is the trade-off. Okay, it becomes weak, because then you're not putting authority onto the dog. Okay, and of course there's a big twist in that, because then you're going to take everything completely out of context, and there's no normalcy. You can't have a normal conversation about it, because you're a rebel, basically. That's what's happening. People are just rebelling against this whole thing about where a dog's place is. So, in order to get, because and then on top of that, I show this connection part. Dogs really do. Nature sharing that connection through us with other dogs, pack. But that is the standard. People aren't meeting the test. And so, beyond just touching your dog, it truly is all about dogs really are able to peel back how you think, and they assess it. They do their own personality test. So this whole permissive dynamic is the problem right now in society. And so it's all about helping people. So first, there's got to be a type of a reality check here. I mean, there's decision points taking place, because dog owners they can either accept or reject what I'm saying. Period. I mean, you're in control of that. But if you reject what I'm saying, don't be shocked or surprised if you're just spinning your wheels and you're not able to break out of or break free from or have the ability to role change your dog. Because I guarantee you, this is the problem with dogs right now, is that people are unable to get this, because part of it is because they don't want to get it. Okay, I mean, there's all this justification going on and these excuses. And so if you really, because I have the ability to really, and this is why people will hate what I'm saying, because it's the truth. But beyond that is it forces a choice here. You gotta surrender your thinking over. You gotta submit to nature's law. You gotta submit to nature. And that is the problem here nowadays. People are trying to be their own god. They're trying to hold on. They want what they want, but nature doesn't work that way. So it's to me, even though it's a terrible situation, it's absolutely no surprise. There's no shock. The level of disconnect happening, and why so many dogs are being killed and given up on, destroyed. I mean, there's no shock there. There's no shock to it. It's awful. It shouldn't be happening, but that's just the way it's going down because of this. So that is the test. That is the standard. So the whole thing here is people need to, and my whole system is really, it's based on telling you what you need to hear and not what you want to hear. But but it's all about helping people. You have to, because this is the fact. In order to get to where you need to go in the relationship, you need to know where you're at. And they're mutually together. I mean, one, it's not independent of the other. You have to know where you're at. So this is the reality check part. So these ideas about learning, all these other ideas, I show very clearly what they represent based on the psychology. And so the whole approach, my whole system takes the approach of making sure role change is going to happen. Making sure that your psychology is going to align the right way. And it's all about hearing. You need to hear the truth, because I'm not doing people any favors by because what I tell people is I could go in, and this happens a lot. Don't be fooled. I could go in and get out treats and clickers and use certain motivating agents and make it look fantastic from the surface, okay? But then you go home and nothing at the core level changes. The unwanted behaviors don't change, and this is the problem. This is what's happening everywhere. So I understand deeply how a dog's mind is governed. I understand nature at its core, and so my whole system is built on that. So when you step back, just never people, when you see dogs just moving around, never make assumptions. I mean, you have to test it. It's got to be, the test is the decision making of the dog, how it's impacted at that level. And all these other ideas, and you might go in and look at my credentials. Never assume anything. I know what I'm talking about. I've asked the tough questions years ago, and these academics, these trainers that are pushing these ideas are not. Okay, they're not asking. This is what's going on. So you have to look at the connection. It's all about connection. It's mind and body, and that goes to the heart of the issue. And the whole thing about want and about meeting your needs, that can happen, but it's got to come on nature's terms. So this whole issue about petting and loving your dog, it's not about taking that away from people, the ability to do that, but it's got to come through the strength of the role. It's just like being either the friend to your child or the parent. There's a big difference. And dogs really understand which one it is. And so when you start to see the behavior issues elevate and escalate, that's the path, the road that it's taking. So anyway, just something to think about. I could talk a lot about this. There's an interplay here. There's certain things that are totally reverse. But nature, will show you the truth. But you have to have a willingness to still want to see it. And I help dog owners see that. So if you're interested again in help, because with me, it's not just bringing judgment down on people. It's not about that, or making people feel small or bad or belittling people. There has to be a willingness. It's not about just people say, well, it's my fault. That's not what it's about. It's not about making people feel bad. But there has to be that willingness to say, you know what, I'm open-minded. I'm willing to change. I'm willing to be open-minded, because I know that I love my dog enough to do that. Because I don't want my dog to carry the burden of the role, because that's stressful in itself. That can take years off your dog's life. So there's got to be a willingness there first. And once it's there, then it's amazing, because again, nature's about second chances. You'll get to where you need to go. You'll move ahead. You'll step out of the boat, so to speak, without the fear that there's nothing under your feet. So anyway, if you're interested, give me a call, email me. Again, thanks very much for watching. I hope this video was insightful. I hope you have a great day.